One important fire building skill that sometimes gets neglected is batoning. Batoning is where we take a larger piece of wood and using a knife and a baton, we process that wood down to smaller pieces, making it easier for them to light. Now this is really important if the wood is wet or the conditions are wet outside, snow, rain, etc. So today what I'm going to do is I've actually got my Christmas tree here on my left and I need to trim up the bottom. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use this as a good demonstration to teach you batoning. Stay tuned. So when I am looking for a piece of wood to baton here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece between branches here and here. What that's going to do is make it so that there's not a lot of knots for me to mess with. If I were to cut this piece starting up here down to here, I'd have to mess with all these knots here. It'd be very hard to split that up. Okay, so I've got my piece of wood that I'm going to cut up here. Now, if this was a real survival situation, I would want this piece to be at least that long. However, my wife only wanted me to take this much off the bottom of the tree, so this is going to be for demo purposes only. Again, in a real life situation, I would definitely want something longer, but I don't want to piss my wife off either. So now I've got my piece of wood that I want to cut down. This is a Mora Garberg. It is a full tang knife, so I can baton on it fairly heavy. I like to put my knife in my non-dominant hand and my baton in my dominant hand. So now we're simply going to move the blade down our piece of wood. And what we can do is just continue to make this smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, the inside of this is incredibly wet, this wood. So the only way we get this to burn would be to process it down into fairly small pieces, which we're doing right now. So it's going to take quite a bit of heat to dry this out, but it'll take less heat to dry this out, for example, than say that. So that's why we do this. Just a quick safety note, I do try to keep the blade out away from my body at all times. You know, you don't want to get down here in your femoral artery area. That could end disastrously. When I do this with my students, we always have a tourniquet right next to us as we're batoning. No one's ever gotten hurt, but I want to keep it that way too. So pretty quickly you can get a lot of pieces. So again, this is batoning. Great skill to learn how to do. Get yourself a quality knife, quality saw, and you're good to go.